Hi, welcome to the 6502 show. I've got two new games for the VIC-20 that we're going to take a look at today. The games in question are Borg Attack and Lil Zilch, both by yours truly. Let's see. Both are written entirely in BASIC. With one small exception, I did go to machine language for a joystick read routine on the Borg Attack game. And they both fit right within tight memory limits. Lil Zilch is a dice game and it runs in the unexpanded VIC. And Borg Attack takes a 3K expander in block 0. These were games that I wrote a couple of years ago in TinyBASIC for a 6502 trainer board, and I really wanted to give them a little more pizzazz, zip them up a smidge, make them look nicer, and actually sound like something. I wanted to write the games just as if they would have appeared, say, like one of these back in the day. Type-in programs are what we feasted off of, at least when we were kids in the 80s. That's how I probably got the bulk of my software. That and borrowing from friends. Anyway, I think that these two programs are kind of true to form there and really brought back a bit of nostalgia for me. I kind of think Borg Attack might have been able to appear in one of those magazines at some point or another. My good friend Masterhit1 here on YouTube, among his many talents, he is also a talented artist, and he created some wonderful sketches and graphic arts for the documentation for this program, as well as designing an ersatz box cover. So we'll take a look at that. We'll also look at a couple snippets of code that help make Borg Attack do what it does, and then we'll do a playthrough of a game on it. And I'll also show you briefly Lil Zilch. Here's the cover that Nils came up with, and I think this is genius. It looks just like the games I would have seen in Kmart or Sears back in the day. We've got the cube bearing down on a planet, and the little Federation shuttlepods coming to the rescue, one would hope. Next we get to the instructions. In the little booklet inside, there was often a sheet or folded up single sheet, or maybe a small 4-page booklet that went along with a lot of the software, especially software that Commodore produced. But almost everyone did it back in the day. The instruction page to get the program loaded and running features another one of Masterhit1's great graphics. We get a little bit of the story behind the game and what your motivations are and what you're trying to do. Gameplay is covered, as well as a hint and an explanation of the play levels. There are 3 things I wanted to show you guys about the loader to this program, and they are right here. This is the location that determines where your screen is going to be centered vertically, and by changing this to 160 rather than the default 35, I have essentially moved the entire viewable screen out of screen area. You can't see it. So the building of the screen, the splash screen, will happen away from the game player's eyes. And then we will scroll it up as we play some tunes. Right here we're reading notes, and then before we turn those notes off, we're going to scroll up one line and decrease that the contents of that register till it hits 35, and then our screen will be set and ready to go. So that's how the scrolling got done. It was remarkably simple. The hard thing was figuring out the timing right here, so that once I'd run out of graphics to show, lines to display, yet the song still had to keep playing. So that was a lot of fun. The next thing to look at is down here towards the middle. And this is the code to auto-load the next program in the chain, whether you want to see the instructions or get right to playing the game. And what we have is we're creating a string with L-Shift-O, which is load. That generates, it'll generate the right token. We've got quotation marks, file string. So whatever one we're going to do, we have 2 letters to deal with, because all of this and the comma 8 and the run key, that takes up 10 characters, and that's how much room you have in the little input buffer as it takes things away. And so we just poke that into the buffer right there. Tell the VIC how many keystrokes we have sitting in it, and end the program. And when we end it, those don't go away, and it'll print out the load BI. Say you wanted the Borg instructions. It'll go load that off the disk. And lastly,
or is,
this little machine language program down here reads the joystick, and it puts the result of either nothing or one of the 4 directions or the fire button being pressed in location number 1 in 0 page. And as you can see, it is tucked away in the tape buffer. Now, this isn't going to work if you're loading off of tape, so I moved it to the bottom of the stack. It's starting at decimal 320. Yes, 320. And because the routine's small enough, there's no way you're going to overwrite the thing, and I've tested it. It works fine. It's a great place to stash stuff. Oh, another thing that's kind of interesting was making the little pseudo sprites out of 4 characters. So these are the custom characters here from 1000 to 1140. And each one is made up of 4 characters. For example, my little pseudo sprite is what I'm calling them. They have 4 little quadrants, and that makes up the picture. And those get read as a string later in the main program. So I'll take the semicolon, I'll take the less than sign, I'll take the plus sign, and the greater than sign, or actually that's an equal sign. I do know what it is. And I'll combine those with cursor control keys, and that'll print me out my little 4 quadrant, 4 character single graphic. You'll see them in just a minute. Here's what the pseudo sprites look like actually inside of the VIC-20 code. It does no good to show you on a text screen because the special characters don't show up correctly. But here you can see exactly how it's put together. CH string is Chandra string, then the cube, an anomaly, the ship, if we're docked, etc., etc., all the things that you have. And the reverse characters are cursor control movement, Q down, and the line being left. And there's also some color in there to change things up. I see white, yellow, green, all kinds of stuff. All right, on to the game. All right, so there's a little bit about the program. Now let's put the game through its paces and do a run-through. And we wait patiently for the machine to load. That was kind of fun. Oh. Ominous warnings. It's loading the custom characters at that point and preserving the top of user RAM. Let's go ahead and look at the instructions. The Borg. The name alone strikes fear into the hearts across the galaxy. Well, this tells you a little bit of the backstory, and that Captain Picard's put you in charge with a souped-up shuttlepod, and you learn about what your shuttle can do. and how the cube will take evasive action as it moves towards the planet. Here are the instructions, really, aside from the story. Use the cursor keys or joystick to move the sights, type a J, or press fire if you're using the joystick to jump the shuttle. The Borg cube will move before you jump, so you must try to anticipate its course to find it. If you do find the cube, your multiphasic torpedoes have a small chance of getting through the cube's shields and disabling it. Otherwise, it will take 2 strikes to defeat the cube and save the Chandrans. If your shields hold when the cube returns fire, you can jump back to Chandra's orbital base for repair and resupply. But remember, the cube will have moved twice by the time you leave the dock. Good luck. All right. Before we play, though, I want to tell you that the jump sequence of this program has lots of flashing going on. So if flashing triggers you to some type of bad physical reaction, you should not watch the rest of this, nor should you probably play the game. Fair warning. Let's use the joystick. I've got my trusty joystick right here, and we will play the game. Borg joystick is going to load. It would be BK if we'd chosen the keyboard for input. This takes up all but about 300 bytes of memory in a 3K expanded VIC-20, so it takes a little while to load. Let's do just the easy level first. Seasoned Captain. And let's go on a search pattern here. We know the cube's going to appear somewhere on the outer rim over there. So let's check those locations first. Not there. Let's try down here. Ah, an anomaly has been found. Well, it's probably going to be there next because it's always going to move down and to the left. That's my left, not yours. The cube's always going to move down and to the left as it works its way towards the planet. It might go 1 grid, it might go no grids. It might go 2 grids if you're playing on a higher level. You don't know. So we've jumped to our new sector here. It was a lot of fun putting the Borg voices together. Let's fire at it, because that's why we're here, right? All right, we got a hit, but it's going to return fire. Ooh, 60%. Do I dare take another shot? Why not? Uh-oh. Hope it's not too bad. Whew, shield just held at 3%. I'm going to jump back by toggling the joystick here in any direction, doesn't matter which one. And now I'm back at the base. There's my little shuttle orbiting the planet. All right, Chandra 5 is clear. Let's see, he was at 0.8. Let's look for the cube at 0.6. Or 60. It's XY. Okay, so in the time that we were at the dock and then we came back out to find the Borg cube, it had only moved once. So at one of those 2 turns that it could have moved, it chose to faint and just play possum. So we're just going to stay where we are. To do that, I won't move at all, and I'll just hit the jump button. And now the cube shall come to us. You dirty rat.
Yes. Pow. Take that. Oh, that's not good. 1%? Almost completely annihilated there. Let's limp back to Chandra. We're very fortunate that we found the cube so early. Uh-oh, snuck behind me.
You bastard!
Yeah, and this gives us multiple chances to get those 2 critical hits in. Of course, if you don't find the Borg early, your chances of success are pretty damn slim. Again? Okay. The cube can only move max 2 grids toward the planet. Once when I go to dock, once when I come back out. So let's go ahead and get resupplied and charged up here and hope that we can get him on this last opportunity. He's not going to fall into our trap. Or will he? Yeah, got him. Play again. Well, you've seen what happens. There's other stuff for when you fail, and we won't go into that right now.
Here's the second game I told you about. It's called Lil Zilch. I originally wrote this for 6502 single board computer, the PAL-1, that is a replica of the Kim-1. And I thought, hey, rather than just some text, let's make it a little fancier, just for the heck of it. So you need to score 2,000 points in 10 turns or less. 3 rolls per turn, and you got to score on every roll. You might have played this game before. Some people call it greedy. Some people, I've seen it called Cosmic Wimp Out. So anyway, it's a pretty easy game to play. Uh-oh, Zilch. We didn't have a 1 or a 5. And those are the only 2 that score. There's a 5. We'll keep dice number 5. And I want to re-roll. So I'll hit the space bar. 5 was my keeper. This time I'm going to keep 1. Let's roll again. I got 3 rolls. Oh! Not one of the other 3 came back a scoring die. Well, this would go on and on and on. And I win maybe 40% of the time. I don't know. But you get the picture. So if you want this game, come to my website, pick it up. It's yours for the having.
Both games are available on my 6502 website. The info is right there, and it's also in the description below. Both games are in a D64 file format, so you can use them on the VIC emulator. And there's also a tape version if you really want to relive the early 80s. You know, about 4.5 minutes of load time, so go get a snack or stare at that homework that you haven't done yet, just like you did in the old days. And don't forget to check out Masterhit1's site here on YouTube. His channel is full of all kinds of goodies about retro computing. So do go over there and check that out too. Anyway, that's all I got for you right now. Hope to have some more videos sooner than later, because I do know it has been later. Anyway, until I see you again, you take care.